The editor and the demagogue. Read along in description. In his novel It Can't Happen Here, Sinclair Lewis imagined a demagogue named Buzz Windrip. But in today's America, Arnold S. Stump embodied the same bluster, grievance, and polished lies, turning slogans into weapons. The rallies began to feel less like politics and more like rituals. Crowds swarmed arenas draped in flags, chanting in unison while Stump basked in the adoration. He no longer pretended to be a politician bound by law. He spoke as though the country were his inheritance. Promises of wealth and protection for the faithful, punishment and exile for his critics. His words blurred into threats, and the crowd cheered louder each time. In a small New England town, Wilber Weberman, an aging editor, watched the spectacle unfold with despair. Running a modest online paper from his cluttered office, he tried to sound the alarm in articles no one wanted to read. His neighbors waved him off with tired jokes or muttered that the country needed a strong hand. He had covered politics for decades, but he had never seen his community so willing to embrace fear over reason. Stump's inner circle moved quietly, reshaping rules in state houses and courts. Districts were redrawn, voting laws tightened, and dissenters branded as enemies of the people. Marvin Miller, in this era, wasn't a shadowy counselor but a polished strategist who manipulated algorithms, ensuring lies outpaced truth across every feed. The erosion of democracy was deliberate, legal enough to appear normal, and quick enough that outrage could not keep up. On the ground, small men like Nash Patel carried out the will of the movement. Once ignored, now he wore his new badge with pride, a sheriff's deputy turned enforcer who patrolled with a smug sense of power. He had no vision of his own, only the satisfaction of intimidation. For Trump, figures like Nash were indispensable, proof that authoritarianism doesn't arrive only from the top but grows from below in the hands of those who finally taste control. Weberman's daughter, Mary, refused to be silent. She joined networks of young organizers who spread information, staged protests, and tried to protect those targeted by the new regime. Unlike her father, she didn't believe truth alone would prevail. She knew survival required courage and sacrifice. Their arguments were tense. He clung to words, she demanded action, but both understood that silence was complicity. By the time the country realized how far it had gone, the institutions meant to protect it had already bent. Courts, legislatures, even churches carried the weight of Trump's influence. Neighbors stopped speaking, families split apart, and fear became the language of daily life. The old editor wrote in his journal at night, knowing his words might never be read, but hoping they would outlast the darkness. Mary, meanwhile, continued her work in the shadows, proof that even when democracy collapsed in daylight, resistance still lived quietly after dark. The end of the story, and possibly our freedoms too,